Jero ran behind the giant beast as they moved through the dark tunnels of the dragon pit. The walls glowed red from the energy lines, and the floor shook with every step the creature took. The beast's name was still unknown to Jero, but it had once fought for humans. Now it was waking again, not as a monster, but as a weapon of the past. "They will block the tunnel," the beast said. Its voice was like thunder. "Then we go fast," Jero replied, breathing hard. "We don't have much time." Behind them, the sound of machines grew louder. Alien drones flew into the tunnels. Their blue lights blinked in the dark, and their metal arms held laser guns. Jero ducked as one drone fired. The shot hit the wall beside him. The beast turned with a loud roar. Flames burst from its mouth and hit the drones. Fire lit the tunnel. 3 drones exploded at once. The air filled with smoke and heat. Jero coughed. "You still have your fire." The beast's eyes glowed brighter. "I was made for war." They reached a large metal door. It was closed, rusted, and locked. "This is the way to the control room," Jero said, "but I can't open it without power." The beast slammed its claw into a power box on the wall. Sparks flew out. Jero rushed to the control panel and placed his small device on the screen. It blinked green. "Come on. Come on," he whispered. The door made a loud click. Then it opened slowly with a deep groan. Inside was a large room filled with old machines, screens, and control panels. This was the heart of the dragon pit. Long ago, humans had built it to study and control the beast. Now it was forgotten. Jero stepped in carefully. The beast followed, its body barely fitting through the door. He looked at the main control desk. Dust covered it. The screens were cracked, but one small light still blinked. "This is it," Jero said. "If I can restart the system, I can open the tunnel to the surface." The beast stood silent. "There is something else you should know." "What?" Jero asked, still working on the controls. "I was not alone." Jero looked up. "What do you mean?" The beast walked to the side of the room and hit the wall with its claw. The wall broke open, and behind it was another chamber. Inside, something was sleeping, huge, round, and silent. Another machine, another beast. Jero stepped back. "There's another one." The dragon nodded. It never woke. It was damaged long ago. But if the aliens reach it first, they might try to fix it and control it. Jero felt cold. They could use it to destroy Earth. The beast's eyes burned red. Yes. Suddenly, alarms rang through the pit. A loud voice in alien language spoke through speakers. "They're coming here," Jero said. "We need to move." The beast growled. "No more hiding. No more waiting." It turned and faced the door. From the tunnel, alien soldiers entered. 10 of them, all armed. Their leader pointed at the beast. "Kill the human. Trap the beast." Jero shouted, "Now." The dragon charged forward. Fire shot from its mouth, covering the soldiers in flames. The ground shook. Walls cracked. Jero ducked behind the desk as lasers flew past. The beast crushed 2 soldiers with one swing of its tail. Its metal claws cut through armor. Roars echoed through the chamber. One soldier ran toward Jero. He raised his gun. Jero grabbed a metal rod and hit the soldier's arm. The gun dropped. Jero kicked the soldier back and pressed the control panel. The screen turned green. "Tunnel is open," he shouted. The beast roared in victory and threw the last soldier against the wall. Silence filled the room. Smoke rose in the air. Broken metal and fire were all around. Jero stood up, shaking. That was close. The beast looked at him. "You fight well." Jero smiled. "So do you." Then the ground shook again, but this time it wasn't from the beast. Jero turned to the second chamber. The other machine, was waking up. The ground trembled once more as explosions rumbled from above. Jero's heart raced. The alien guards had called for backup, and now the pit was alive with danger. "We need to move," the first beast said, its voice low and serious. "The aliens will be here soon." Jero didn't wait. He grabbed the small device from his belt and ran toward the exit tunnel. The beast followed, its heavy footsteps shaking the ground beneath them. The second beast, Kravax, was still down, but it was breathing again. The sound was soft, like a slow, steady wind. Jero wasn't sure how long it would last before Kravax woke completely, but they didn't have time to wait. They reached the tunnel entrance just as more explosions shook the pit. The walls cracked, and dust filled the air. Jero covered his face with his arm and ran faster. "Can you hear them?" the beast asked. "They are coming down. Many ships, many soldiers." Jero didn't answer. He focused on the path ahead, his fingers clenched around the device. The tunnel was long, and the way was dark. The air was thick with the smell of smoke and metal, but there was light ahead, a faint glow. The surface was close. "We can make it," Jero said, pushing forward. Above, alien voices shouted. The sound of gunfire echoed in the distance. They were almost there. Jero's mind raced. The aliens wouldn't give up. They would send everything they had to stop him. To stop the beast. They would not let them escape. The beast beside him paused and looked up. Its eyes glowed brighter. "We are not going quietly," it growled. Jero nodded. "I know." Just then, Kravax stirred. The ground rumbled as the second beast's giant form shifted. Slowly, Kravax stood up, his eyes blinking. "Human, where are we?" "We're leaving," Jero said. "The way out is close. Follow us." Kravax's voice was broken but clear. I do not remember, but I will follow." The beast moved forward, pushing past Jero. "We must hurry. There is no time." They reached a large door at the end of the tunnel. A blast door. It was old, but it looked strong. Jero ran to the control panel and began working. The voice of the aliens echoed from above, growing louder. They were coming. Boom. A blast hit the tunnel above. The walls cracked again, and the ground shook violently. Jero lost his balance and fell. The door control panel sparked. "Jero," the beast shouted. "You must open it now." Jero gritted his teeth and tried again. His fingers were shaking. Sweat poured down his face. He was so close. He could hear the soldiers now. Footsteps, weapons, and shouts. Another explosion. The ground trembled. "Open," Jero shouted, pressing every button. His heart raced. Then, a loud click. The blast door slowly began to open. Fresh air flooded the tunnel. Jero's eyes widened. "We did it." But before they could run out, the door suddenly stopped. "Get out of my way," Jero yelled. He tried to push the door open, but something was blocking it. Something heavy, something alive. Then, a loud roar echoed through the tunnel. The second beast, Kravax, stepped forward. "Move aside." With one powerful shove, Kravax's claws tore the door open. Sparks flew. Metal twisted. Jero stepped back, shocked. "What are you doing?" Kravax looked at him, his eyes fierce. "I am protecting you. You will leave. I will hold them off." "No," Jero shouted. "We can't leave you behind." The first beast stepped closer. "He is right. He will fight to the end. We must go now." Jero hesitated, but only for a moment. The alien forces were getting closer. He knew Kravax was making a choice, the same choice he had made. He looked at Kravax. "Thank you," Jero said. The giant beast nodded, his eyes full of sadness and strength. "Go, human. I will hold them. You have a future to fight for." With one last roar, Kravax turned and charged back into the pit, ready to face the aliens. Jero ran. The first beast followed him, and together they broke through the open door and into the sunlight. Outside, the world was changing. The tunnel was narrow and dark. Rai's feet scraped against the cold stone as he moved quickly. Velger's glowing eyes lit up the path ahead, but even the dragon's bright glow couldn't cut through the deep darkness. The rumbling from above didn't stop. It grew louder, shaking the walls and floor of the tunnel. Rai's heart raced. He could feel the ground tremble beneath him. "What is that?" Rai whispered, his voice shaky. Velger's voice was steady. "It's them. They've noticed we escaped. They'll send something to stop us." Rai swallowed hard. "We need to move faster. I don't want to find out what they send after us." They ran. The tunnel seemed endless. Every turn led to another dark, cold passage. The air grew heavier, and it felt like something was watching them, even though no one was there. Then they reached a large open space. The tunnel opened up into a cavern, the ceiling so high that Rai couldn't see the top. It was empty, except for the thick vines that covered the walls and the large iron door at the far end. Rai took a deep breath. "That's the door from the map. It's got to be the exit." Velger nodded. "But it looks too easy. There's a catch." Rai stepped forward cautiously. He could feel the weight of the air in the cavern. Something wasn't right. He reached out and touched the iron door, but before he could push it open, a loud, deafening roar echoed through the cavern. Rai spun around. From the shadows of the cavern, a massive shape emerged. It was a creature like none Rai had ever seen before. Its body was covered in thick, black scales. Its eyes were a bright yellow, and its claws were like knives. The creature stepped into the light, revealing its huge size. It was a Zoloth, a legendary predator from the alien world, and it looked hungry. "Run," Rai shouted. But Velger stood still. His wings flared out. "No, we fight." The Zoloth growled, its mouth opening to show rows of razor-sharp teeth. It moved toward them, each step shaking the ground. Rai felt a cold sweat on his forehead. "It's too big. We can't win this fight." "We don't have a choice," Velger said. "We fight, or we die." Rai looked at the iron door. There had to be a way out. It couldn't be this easy to escape. But the Zoloth was getting closer, and Velger was preparing for the fight of his life. The dragon took a deep breath, then unleashed a wave of fire. The Zoloth roared, backing away from the flames, but it didn't stop. It wasn't afraid. Rai picked up a sharp rock from the ground, his hands trembling. "We need to distract it. Maybe we can get to the door while it's focused on you." Velger nodded. "Do what you must." Rai ran toward the far wall, throwing the sharp rock as hard as he could. It hit the Zoloth on its head, making it snarl in anger. The creature turned toward him. Velger used the chance to fly toward the Zoloth, his claws slashing at its side. The Zoloth hissed and swung its tail, knocking Velger back. Rai ran to the iron door and tried to pull it open, but it was stuck. "Come on," he muttered. The Zoloth turned back to Velger, who was already on his feet, looking more fierce than ever. The two began circling each other, each waiting for an opening. The fight was intense. Velger used his fire and speed to keep the Zoloth at bay, but the creature was quick and strong. Rai glanced back at the door. He needed to move fast. Then he saw something. A small glowing symbol on the side of the door, the same symbol from the map. It was the key. Rai ran to it, pressing the symbol. The door began to rumble. "No," the Zoloth roared, turning toward Rai. But it was too late. The iron door slowly opened, revealing a narrow, hidden passageway. Rai dove into it, and Velger followed, barely avoiding the Zoloth's swipe. They ran through the passage, hearing the creature's roar echoing behind them. The tunnel was tight and winding, but it felt like freedom was just ahead. The walls seemed to pulse with a strange energy, and the air smelled fresh, like the outside world. They didn't stop until they reached the end of the tunnel. Then they saw it. A small hidden door stood before them. Beyond it was sunlight. Rai smiled. We made it. Velgar stepped forward, his wings rustling. Not yet. Rai turned to him. What do you mean? The dragon looked at the door with a dark expression. This is not the end. It's only the beginning. He pushed the door open. The outside world was there, but it was nothing like Rai had imagined. A vast alien city stretched out before them. Giant, metal towers loomed in the sky. The ground was covered in strange plants, glowing under the sunlight. And somewhere far away, a ship hovered. Rai's heart skipped a beat. We're not free yet, are we? No, Valgar said, but we are closer. We need to finish this, Jero said, his voice low but determined. We can't let them take Earth. The beast nodded. They will not win. Not today. Jero looked up at the sky. More ships were descending. They were sending their last forces. If they didn't act now, the aliens would regroup and attack again, stronger than before. I have an idea, Jero said, but it's risky. We need to get to the main command ship. It's where the aliens control everything. The beast's eyes glowed. I'm with you. The two of them moved quickly, weaving through the ruined town, avoiding the wreckage and the alien soldiers who were still fighting on the ground. The alien forces were disoriented, but they were fierce. There were fewer of them now, but they wouldn't give up. Jaro and the beast reached the outskirts of the town, where a large alien command ship hovered. It was massive, almost like a floating city. It was the heart of the invasion, and if they could take it down, they could end the war. But there was a problem. The command ship was surrounded by a force field, and the aliens were heavily guarding the area. Jero knew they couldn't just walk up and attack. There has to be a way in, Jero said, scanning the area. The beast looked around. We can't attack from the front. Too many soldiers. Jaro frowned. Then he remembered something. The old power plant. If we can get to the backup control panel there, we can cut the force field's power. Lead the way, the beast said. They made their way toward the old plant. It was hidden behind a line of trees, away from the main fighting. The alien soldiers hadn't noticed them yet. They reached the entrance. The doors were locked, but Jaro quickly hacked into the system with his device. The door opened with a soft click. Inside, it was dark and quiet. Old machines hummed in the background, and dust covered the floors. But Jaro didn't waste time. He ran to the control panel, ignoring the silence around him. The beast stood guard, watching the door. Hurry, human. We don't have much time. Jaro worked fast, typing commands into the control system. Sweat dripped down his face. Every second felt like an hour. He could hear the sound of footsteps outside. The aliens were getting closer. Come on, Jaro whispered to himself. Come on. The system beeped, and the backup control panel lit up. Jaro quickly hit a button. The ground shook as the force field around the command ship flickered and then dropped. We're in, Jaro said. Let's go, the beast growled. The two of them ran back toward the command ship. With the force field down, they had a clear path. But as they approached, a group of alien soldiers appeared, blocking their way. They raised their weapons. Stay back, one of the soldiers shouted in a strange language. Jaro looked at the beast. They had to make it through. The beast stepped forward, its eyes glowing red. You should have stayed out of my way. With one roar, the beast lunged at the soldiers. Fire burst from its mouth, and soldiers screamed as they were knocked back. Jaro grabbed his weapon and joined the fight, taking down the remaining soldiers with quick shots. They fought their way to the command ship. The door was massive, but it slid open as they approached, sensing their presence. Inside, the control room was a maze of glowing screens and strange technology. At the center of it all, a large alien commander stood, watching them. You are too late, the alien commander said, its voice cold. Earth will fall. Jaro raised his weapon. Not if I can help it. The beast growled, "We will fight until the end." With that, the final battle began. The alien commander raised its weapon, firing lasers at Jaro and the beast. The beast dodged and retaliated with fire, while Jaro used the chaos to move closer, aiming for the commander's weak spot. Finally, with a well-aimed shot, Jaro hit the control panel in front of the commander. Sparks flew, and the ship's systems began to fail. The alien commander screamed, but it was too late. The ship started to shake, and the lights flickered. The first beast roared in victory. "It's over." Jaro looked at the beast, his chest heavy with emotion. "We did it." The ground trembled as the ship began to fall. They ran toward the exit, with the ship crashing around them. The sky above was filled with smoke and debris as the alien forces crumbled. As they reached safety, Jaro turned to the beast. "You've done more than I could ever ask." The beast looked at him. "We both fought for Earth, and we both won." Jaro smiled, but there was sadness in his heart. So many lives had been lost, and so many sacrifices made. But Earth was free. And for the first time in a long while, there was hope. Jaro squinted as he stepped out of the tunnel and into the bright sunlight. The world felt different now, like something had changed forever. The fresh air, the wide sky, it all felt so peaceful compared to the chaos inside the dragon pit. But that peace wouldn't last long. Behind him, the door to the tunnel slammed shut with a loud boom. The first beast turned, its eyes narrowing as the sound of Kravax's roar echoed from the depths below. "We have no time," the beast said. "The aliens will be here soon. They will bring everything. They have to stop us." Jaro nodded. He knew the truth. The aliens had sent their strongest forces to hold them back. Now, it was time for the final fight. The first beast looked at the sky. Ships. Dark, sleek ships appeared, floating high above. They were the aliens' warships, dropping down from the clouds like shadows. Dozens of them. Hundreds of soldiers would soon be on the ground. Jaro could see the fear in the beast's eyes, but it didn't speak of it. Instead it said, "We will fight. We have no other choice." Jaro looked around. They were near a small town. The houses were empty. The streets were quiet. But soon, this place would become a battlefield. "There's a military base nearby," Jaro said. "We can get weapons there. Help." The beast nodded. "We will need all the help we can get." As they ran toward the base, the sky above darkened. Alien soldiers began to drop from the ships, their jetpacks blasting them to the ground. Their armor was black and strong. Their weapons deadly. They were ready for war. Jaro could hear them shouting commands in a language he couldn't understand. But he didn't need to understand. He could see the fear in their eyes. They were afraid of the beast. The first alien soldiers raised their guns. Jaro and the beast had only a few seconds before the shooting started. "Go," Jaro shouted. The first beast roared. The ground shook as it charged forward. Fire erupted from its mouth, hitting the first line of soldiers. They scattered, falling to the ground, burning. Jaro ran after it. He knew they couldn't stop. Not now. Not when Earth's survival was at stake. More soldiers appeared, running from the ships. Their guns fired, but the beast moved too fast. It knocked down soldiers with its claws, crushing their armor with ease. Jaro ducked as lasers flew past him. He grabbed a weapon from the ground, one of the fallen soldier's guns, and fired back. The shot hit its target. One alien fell, then another. But they kept coming. The first beast turned to Jaro. "We cannot fight them all. We need to move quickly. We need a plan." Jaro looked at the approaching ships. There were too many to fight, too many to defeat with just fire and weapons. "We need to stop the ships," Jaro said. "They're the key." The beast nodded. "Then we take the fight to them." Jaro ran toward a nearby building. It was the military base. Inside, there were more weapons. There had to be. He pushed open the door. It was dark inside. There were lockers, old machines, and signs of a long-forgotten war. But in the back, Jero saw something he had hoped for, a weapons storage room. The first beast followed him inside, its claws scraping against the metal walls. Jero opened a locker and pulled out a rifle. He checked the ammo. Enough for now. But then a sound. Footsteps. The aliens were coming. "We need to move," Jero said, quickly loading the weapon. "Let's hit them before they hit us." The beast stepped forward, ready to fight. But Jero stopped him. "No, we need to destroy their ships first." He had an idea, something he had seen before, back in the Dragon Pit. A control panel. It had maps of the area, showing the alien ships and their weak points. Jero stood still as the giant beast stared at him. The red eyes blinked once, slowly. Then the dragon turned and walked deeper into the pit. Its metal tail scraped the stone floor, making sparks. It didn't attack. It didn't roar. It wanted Jero to follow. He took a deep breath and moved forward. Every step felt heavy. The heat grew stronger. The light from above faded, and soon the crowd could no longer see him. He was now inside the true dragon pit. The space became narrower, like a tunnel. Walls were covered in dust and deep claw marks. Pieces of old machines were scattered around. Some looked human-made, others looked alien. The beast walked slowly, its steps shaking the ground. Jero followed carefully. He kept the small device in his hand, just in case. He didn't know how long the beast would stay calm. They reached a large chamber hidden deep underground. The air smelled like smoke and rust. There was no light except for red energy lines glowing on the walls. The beast stopped and turned around. Its voice was low and rough. "Why are you here, human?" Jero stepped forward. "To wake you," he said. "To ask for your help." The beast's eyes narrowed. "Help? After all this time? After they left me here, broken?" Jero looked around. Old metal chairs, broken screens, symbols in English and alien letters. This place was once a human base. "I didn't leave you," Jero said, "but I know what you are. You were made to protect humans. You fought for us. Then something happened. Something bad." The beast growled. "They used me. Then they feared me. So they ran. And left me. In this prison." Jero's voice was quiet. "Not all humans are like that." The beast stepped closer. Its head came near Jero. Hot air blew across his face. "You are not afraid." "I was," Jero said, "but I came anyway." Silence filled the chamber. Only the sound of fire cracking from the beast's chest was heard. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Jero looked up. What was that? The beast turned its head. "They are watching. They know you are still alive." Up above, alien guards were moving. They saw Jero disappear into the tunnel. Now they sent drones down to search the pit. The aliens did not want the human to speak to the dragon. They feared the old stories, the stories that said the beast could wake again. Jero looked at the glowing red lines on the wall. He walked to a broken control panel and touched it. The screen blinked. "Still working," he whispered. He pressed a few buttons. A map appeared. It showed the full dragon pit. Rooms, tunnels, locked doors, and one secret path leading out. "There's a way out," Jero said. The beast looked at the screen. Its eyes narrowed. "That way is blocked. I tried, long ago." "I can open it," Jero said, "if I reach the control room." The beast said nothing. Jero turned to face it. "Help me get there. Then we both go. Together. You don't have to stay trapped here anymore." The dragon said in a quiet voice, "You believe I want freedom. I believe you want a choice," Jero answered. The beast stared at him for a long time. Then, slowly, it nodded. "Then come," it said. "But the guards are coming. They will not let us leave." Jero gripped the device tightly. Let them try. The beast roared, loud and deep. The pit walls shook. Fire lit the tunnel. Above, the alien guards froze. Their scanners beeped. Something was moving toward them. Something powerful. Something alive. The door creaked as it opened, revealing the outside world. Rai's eyes widened. He had never seen anything like it. The sky above was a strange mix of purple and blue, with no clouds in sight. The ground beneath their feet was smooth and silver, like metal, and strange glowing plants dotted the landscape. The city ahead was unlike any city Rai had ever seen. Tall, metal towers stretched into the sky, their surfaces shining like mirrors. Rai stepped forward, the air cool and dry. He could hear distant, humming sounds, machines moving, people talking in a language he didn't understand. This was not the world he knew. This was an alien city, far from the pit he had been thrown into. "We're free, but we're not safe," Velgar said, his voice low and serious. "They will come after us. They will send hunters." Rai looked at the dragon, his heart racing. "What do we do now?" Velgar's wings twitched. "We keep moving. We need to find cover." Rai nodded, but his mind was racing. The city was huge. He didn't know where to go or what to do. The glowing plants around them seemed to pulse with an energy that was both beautiful and terrifying. The strange buildings towered over them, casting long shadows in the bright sunlight. "We can't stay here," Rai said. "We need to find somewhere to hide, somewhere they can't find us." Velgar looked around. "There are places in the city where even the hunters don't go, but we must be careful." They started walking, keeping to the shadows as much as they could. Rai's eyes darted from side to side, watching for any signs of danger. The city was quiet, but Rai could feel the tension in the air. It was like something was always watching. As they moved through the city, they passed strange creatures, tall, thin beings that walked on two legs, their skin glowing faintly in the sunlight. They didn't look at Rai and Velgar, but Rai knew they were aware of them. The city felt alive, like it was constantly shifting, hiding secrets. "We need to find a way off this planet," Rai said. "I don't want to stay here any longer than we have to." Velgar's eyes glowed brighter in the dim light. "You're right, but finding a way off will not be easy. We are not the only ones trying to escape." Rai frowned. "What do you mean?" "The city is full of prisoners like us," Velgar said. "They are all trying to escape, in their own ways. Some will help us. Others will try to stop us. We must be careful who we trust." Rai's mind raced. He had heard stories of alien worlds, of people living under the rule of powerful beings who controlled everything. But now, standing in the middle of this strange city, Rai realized that survival wasn't just about escaping the pit. It was about learning to navigate this dangerous new world. As they continued walking, they came to a large building with glowing signs above the entrance. The signs were written in symbols Rai couldn't read, but the building seemed important. It looked like a place people would go for help. "We should check it out," Rai said. "Maybe they can help us find a ship." Velgar hesitated. "It's risky. We don't know who controls it." "I know," Rai said, "but we don't have much choice." They approached the entrance, and as they did, a guard stepped out from behind the door. He was tall and wore a uniform that glowed faintly. He looked at them with eyes that were both cold and curious. "State your business," the guard said in a deep, unfamiliar language. Rai's heart pounded in his chest. He didn't know if the guard was friendly or a threat, but he had to try. "We're just looking for a way out," Rai said quickly, hoping the guard could understand him. "We need to find a ship. Please, help us." The guard studied them for a moment. Then, without saying a word, he stepped aside and motioned for them to enter. Rai and Velgar exchanged a glance. It was a risk, but it was a chance. They entered the building, and the door slid shut behind them. Inside, the building was filled with people. Some of them were like the glowing beings they had seen outside, while others looked like normal humans, just like Rai. There were machines and strange devices everywhere, and the air smelled of metal and energy. A woman approached them. She had long silver hair and eyes that seemed to glow with an inner light. She spoke in the same strange language as the guard, but this time, Rai understood a few words. "Are you lost?" she asked. Rai nodded. "Yes, we need to get off this planet. Can you help us?" The woman's expression softened. "You are not the first to ask for help, but help comes at a price." Rai felt a cold chill run down his spine. What kind of price? The fire pit was quiet now. The crowd above had gone. Only the echo of laughter and screams remained in the air. Rai sat near the wall, his back against the cold stone. His body hurt. His mind was full of questions. The dragon lay on the other side of the pit. Its eyes were half closed, but it was not asleep. Smoke still came from its nose, rising into the dark. Rai looked at it carefully. "You said you used to be free. What happened?" The dragon opened one eye. "Long ago, I ruled the skies of my home world. I had a name. I had power. But the aliens came. They came in metal ships. They used tricks, weapons, and poison. They hunted me, captured me. Now I am just a show." Rai frowned. "They did the same to humans. Earth fought back, but we lost." "Yes," the dragon said. "The strong were broken. The weak became toys." Rai stood up. His legs were shaky, but he wanted to move. "Why don't you fight back?" "I tried," said the dragon, "many times, but this pit has no way out. Only one gate, high above. And the guards, they wait with guns. Fire guns, pain guns." Rai remembered how he had fallen. The walls of the pit were smooth, too high to climb. It really was a trap. "Maybe there's a way," he said, almost to himself. The dragon looked at him. "You think you can escape?" "I don't know," Rai said, "but I won't die here. I have to try." The dragon stood up slowly. Its huge wings moved slightly. "Why do you care so much?" Rai looked up at the stars, just barely visible far above the pit. "Because I have someone waiting. My sister. She's still on Earth. If there's even a small chance to go back, I have to take it." The dragon was quiet for a moment. Then it said, "You are brave, human, or foolish. Maybe both." Rai smiled a little. "Maybe." The dragon walked closer. Its claws scraped the stone. Rai didn't step back this time. "I will help you," the dragon said. Rai blinked. "Why?" "Because I am tired of waiting for death," the dragon said. "And because I see fire in you, like I once had." Together, they began to explore the pit. There were broken bones, metal pieces, even old armor from dead fighters. At the far wall, hidden behind rocks, they found something strange. A glowing panel, half buried in dust. Rai touched it. The panel blinked. "What is it?" he asked. "I do not know," the dragon said. "It was not here before. Perhaps it fell during a fight." Rai brushed more dust away. Symbols appeared, alien letters, but one symbol looked familiar. It looked like a control switch. "I think it's part of a system. Maybe from the arena," Rai said. He pressed the button. Nothing happened, but the panel stayed on. "Maybe it's connected to something," he said. The dragon nodded. "We must watch it. It may be useful later." That night, they sat near a small fire. The dragon blew it gently, keeping it alive with a warm breath. "You have not told me your name," the dragon said. "Rai," he said. "My name is Rai." The dragon looked at him with glowing eyes. "I was once called Velgar." "Velgar," Rai repeated. "That's a strong name." The dragon smiled. Just a little. Yes, it was. Rai looked at the fire. "Do you think they'll send more people?" "They always do," Velgar said. "More victims, more fighters, more death." "Then we have to move fast," Rai said, "before more lives are lost." Valgar looked at the glowing panel across the pit. Yes, if there is even a small chance, we must take it. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from above. CLA&K. Rye jumped to his feet. Valgar growled. A metal gate was opening. Lights flashed red above. They are calling us again, Valgar said. Another show. Another fight. Rye's face turned pale. What if they throw monsters at us? They always do, said the dragon. But now, we fight together. Rye looked at the fire, then at the dragon. He wasn't alone anymore. And if they fought side by side, maybe, just maybe, they had a chance.